All right, ready? All right, you know what? In whatever. Just start the stupid.
The fantasy playoffs are here. Week 14. Namco right there. I'm Dustin. Holiday season. Fantasy playoffs.
Insert the playoffs. Do you think he hates it or loves it?
All I want.
Because everybody does.
All I want for Christmas is 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 fantasy championships.
Ooh, getting greedy with the 3 spot. Fantasy gods will spite you for that.
Just give me 1, I'll be happy.
There you go. Fantasy gods are happy. And before I get into it, Dustin's eldest would like me to show off this amazing cup because it's an A this way. Whoops. And it's an A that way, and it changes color. And she literally ran downstairs and said that Brent has to show this to the Smack Talk community, which was adorable, so therefore I'm showing it to you.
She will be very excited.
Addison, that's for you. And there's going to be a lot more A's where that's coming from. And you know who's an A-plus start right now, quarterback, is Jameis Winston. He's been A-okay so far since coming back. All right, I'm done. He's playing against the New Orleans Saints. They are 4th worst against quarterbacks, so I absolutely love that matchup. Since Winston the last 2 weeks has been very good. About 285, 2 touchdowns is what he's been averaging. And if you go to Vegas, they love this game for high scoring. 55.5 over-under. And as a bettor, I actually think that line's going to move up. I think it's going to end at about 57 is my guess. Therefore, Vegas likes this game, scoring a lot of points. So does Namco.
At number 20, just inside our QB2 range, Josh Allen.
Allen.
This guy has been running all over the place. 234 rushing yards over his last 2 games. I am not expecting many points in this game. It's probably going to be ugly. But just because of what he's going to do on the ground, he needs to be in the super flex conversation in any type of 2 QB league. But I think he has a very high floor because of that. So don't forget about Josh Allen. Don't just look at the passing stats. I think too many people get caught up in, oh, he's only thrown this many passing touchdowns. Who cares if he's running for 234 yards in 2 games? And don't forget, get into FanDuel. Click on the link in the description. Sign up, deposit if you haven't already. If your season long's not looking good, if you're out of the playoffs, get into some FanDuel. Get some of that action going. It's a lot of fun.
All right, as we're going to running backs, we got an A-plus pickup of the year. Phillip Lindsay. Who would have saw it coming?
Love him.
Loved him. Dustin told you very early on in the waiver wire show, make sure you spend fab, make sure you use your waiver. Kid be the real deal, and he has been the real deal. He's been absolutely incredible the last 3 weeks, averaging about 20 points. And, as he's playing the Niners this week, we got him ranked number 8 for a reason. There's no reason to think that he isn't going to absolutely carry the load again. He's got potential catching out of the bit. He's got potential finding the end zone, getting a ton of rush yards. Phillip Lindsay is an RB1, ladies and gentlemen.
Jeffrey Wilson I want to talk about out there with the 49ers. He's getting a shot with Burita being out. And, he kind of got a shot last week as well with Burita getting banged up early on before the game even started, actually. Wilson looked pretty good. The best thing with him, though, is he had 8 catches. And when you look at this matchup against Denver, you got to think there's a good chance he'll be playing from behind. So for that reason, I think he could be decent in PPR leagues. I wouldn't be surprised if he has another 5 to 8 catches again this week. So I think he's right there, the RB2 discussion with some upside, decent floor in PPR leagues, I feel. So not hating on him, just not really drooling over him either.
Got another A for you, and that's Mr. Adams. And who would have thought after, whenever the Eagles running backs got hurt, we're like, oh my God, this is going to be one of the biggest messes. It's going to be a super timeshare, kind of stay away. And then all of a sudden it's like, Adams looking pretty good. Maybe you should grab him. All of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, he's been averaging over 20 carries a game. Therefore, if you own this guy, I know it's a divisional game. The over-under is probably 43, but it's a volume play. 20-plus carries is probably what he's going to get. So he's in the flex consideration for you.
Another interesting guy. It's going to be hard to put him in your lineup, but I think you really need to think hard about this one. But Justin Jackson going up against the terrible run D of the Bengals. Here's the thing. It looks like Gordon's going to be out again this week. So Eckler, if you own them both, you're probably stuck.
Yeah, why do you rank him so low?
But
that's why we ranked him.
Yeah, we got a lot of hate on ranking Eckler where we did.
And Diggs. A lot of Diggs.
Jackson was one of the reasons why, because he has looked good even before last week. The last 2 games, 15 carries, he's averaging 8 yards per carry. And I think there's a chance he actually outplays Eckler in this one. It'd be hard to start him over Eckler, but I do think Justin Jackson is a sneaky home run guy that you could throw in there. You know, he could break one. I think he could.
It's not necessarily a home run. I mean, if you have Connor and you're in a pinch and he's on the wire,
grab him.
Definitely scoop him.
I think it could be good this week.
By the way, sorry, Connor owners.
And if you got lineup questions, which I'm sure a lot of people do this week with all the injuries and suspensions and everything. I mean, another injury just popped up today with Sanders, which we'll talk about. Post your questions in this video. We do try to get to as many as we can. We get to a decent amount on the weekend, so post them in this video. We'll see what we can do and answer other people's questions.
And yes, Samuels will keep his tight end eligibility before you ask. They're not going to take it away, so it's a fun little thing.
There you go.
All right, as we go over it, and that's not all leagues. Obviously, ESPN doesn't have his tight end eligible. Anyway, wide receivers, another A. Look at that. Not even planned. Mr. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen. I've always loved Keenan Allen. I always said he just got to stay healthy. Stayed healthy last year. He's staying healthy this year. Knock on wood. But he's been absolutely fantastic. Last 4 games, had a touchdown. That's 4 straight touchdowns. In the last 5-6 weeks, he's been averaging 10-plus targets a game. Rivers absolutely loves this guy. He's an absolute stud. You know, if you got him, you put him in your lineup, but I wouldn't be shocked if he even ends as the number 1 wide receiver this week. He's getting that much volume.
Wide receiver 2 for you at number 18, Adam Humphries. That's right. We got him as a wide receiver 2 this week going up against the Saints. It's time to start giving this guy more respect. He's been a touchdown machine. He's not just a PPR specialist, even though I do like him just a little bit more in PPR leagues. It's time to start giving this guy the love that he deserves. Get him in your lineups, at least in your flex. Good matchup. Should have another solid week.
Not intentional. Another A. Allen Robinson I want to talk about. It's just getting...
Sure.
All right, I'm going away. Sorry, Addison. I'm throwing that off. All right, Allen Robinson. The reason I want to talk about him is... Who is back? What do we like to call him?
Mitch Magic.
We believe he's going to be back. It's not 100% yet as we're shooting this, but it looks very likely like he will be back. And Mitch Magic has an interesting matchup because they are playing the Rams. That's going to be another high-scoring game in Vegas. In fact, 51.5. You know, obviously the Rams are favored, but I do think that it's going to be one of those games where they're going to be chucking the ball all over the field. You know, Robinson, even Miller are interesting wide receiver 3 flex play options for you.
Next, a guy that we're going to get a lot of questions about, I feel, this week, Courtland Sutton.
Why isn't he higher, Dustin?
Well, I'll get to it. With the Emmanuel Sanders injury, he's going to get thrown right in there. The reason I have a hard time putting him any higher is there's no one else out there. Like, their receiving core is absolutely ugly. And there is a chance they can win this game with defense and just running the ball. Like, I don't know if they're necessarily going to force it. So it's a little scary with Sutton, but you got to think there will be some volume if this game can stay close. So he's still very much a flex consideration. It's not like a running back where the starter goes down and, hey, he gets all this volume and it's automatically better.
Yeah.
There's going to be
a lot of coverage.
There's going to be a lot of attention on Sutton because I think that's going to be really the main guy they're focusing on. And that's one thing I did want to mention for this week and for the playoff weeks. Don't overthink it this week. I'm guilty of this myself a lot.
Very guilty.
I'm very guilty.
I'm his sponsor when it comes to overthinking.
I normally do come down to earth and make the decision I should have made all along, but just don't stress yourself out too much trying to make the perfect lineup. Just stick with the guys that got you there for the most part.
That's what I always do.
For the most part.
A lot of success for this. But do I stick with this guy? Because did he really get me there when I go into tight ends? Really? Gronk? Did you get me there? Because I don't think you did, Gronk.
You didn't.
It is ugly. And you know, I'm all right if you bench him. I really am. Part of the reason he's ranked here is the upside's still always so big with him, but he just has not been the same. He's had double-digit points like 4 times this year.
It's not good.
Yuck. I know some people that took him to the end of the first round.
Whoops.
Yuck. Just yuck.
Jordan Reed, number 9.
Still made the playoffs though with him.
Hey, there you go. He's been fairly healthy this year. He is battling. He's a little banged up right now. But you got to think with all the stuff going on with the Redskins and Sanchez coming in there now, you got to think Reed shortening the field up, getting Reed more involved is something that they are probably going to do. But it's still scary just with that offense just being as banged up as it is. But matchup against the Giants, not the worst matchup in the world. I could see Reed catching 5-7 balls in this one in decent volume. So in PPR leagues, I'm not straying away from him. I'm just not so sure he's going to find the end zone.
So we move over to defense. We're going to talk about brand name coast teams for a second. I love the Bears. Dustin will talk about the Bears. Got the Bears in every league. But what I did was I picked up the Bills in pretty much all of my leagues that I don't have a buy in. And the Bills are playing the Jets. And Sam Darnold's going to be back. But that's a good thing for the Bills. You know why? 14 picks in 9 games. So he likes to throw the ball to the other team. So that makes me like the Bills. It's an over-under of 38 with the Bills favored by 3. So Vegas, I think it's going to be the highest scoring game. But the Bills D, it's not really that good. Or I could do...
So, Brent also has the Bears that we have at number 8. And when I say don't overthink it, one of the things, though, that's been a consistent thing this year is you don't start a defense against the Rams.
Right. You don't.
I mean, they've had, Kansas City had a decent week against them just because they found the end zone, even though they gave up like 40-some points. If you have the Bears, you don't like what's on the wire, stick with the Bears. But it's the Rams. They're going to put up points. The Bears are going to have to get lucky and
Are they, though? I want comments, and please, community, Bears or Bills. That's all that I want in the comments.
You might get 4 or 5 sacks. You might get 1 or 2 turnovers. But
yeah, that'll probably be better than the Bills, though, because the Bills will get like 1 sack.
But they're going to give up 30-plus points. You're betting on a pick 6 for them to have.
Love the Bears.
I just think
I got the Bills in right now.
The Bills have a
And it's Sunday night, though. I like the Sunday night to get into the next round.
It's hard. I mean, it's going to come down to one big play. It's hard, but that's tough. That's where I'm at with it. I'm scared.
Post comments, let me know.
I'm scared.
Let me know.
Leave some comments. Good luck in the playoffs. Subscribe.
I might have messed up. Are we unfiltered now because of my toss?
Yeah.
Gimme. I'm going to watch.
And it's called focus.
Boom!